So coming onto the ground to open up the side body, we're going to take our bolster. Make sure you have a block that's handy. We're going to start propping up your bolster on the second highest level or the first highest, depending on where you feel your body needs to open. This can always be readjusted. And then bring your right hip flush against the bolster or two bed pillows. Don't worry about this back leg so much. You want to take a little bit of a twist, face your bolster, grow the spine long. So instead of just plopping forward, which rounds the upper back. Let's focus today on lengthening out of the hip bones and then slowly moving forward. So it's a little bit of a lengthening and twist, lengthening of the spine, rotation of the rib cage. And I like to slowly get into this. If you peek up, you can see my hands are inching. I like to take as long as possible to get into this because by using that technique of lengthening and wrapping, it starts to open up the latissimus dorsi, starts to get into the upper shoulders rather than just plopping down and then hanging out there, which is completely fine too. But one of the beautiful benefits of having a steady yoga practice and then being able to build upon that in the seasons gives us a greater range within our structure. Once you arrive, feel free to keep the eyes closed. You can drape a blanket over your body. Maybe even fall asleep too. The science I'm going to give you. And again, that's just knowledge for you. So as you let your body start to rest in this posture, it's a little bit of a blend between a yin and restorative practice that we're doing today. Just to clarify the differences between both, a yin practice is where you can hold postures anywhere from 1 to 4 to 20 minutes. Focuses more on the subtle feminine energy, more on the lunar aspects. Yin practice allows for not a contracted hold, but a softening within the hold of the posture. And the difference between yin and restorative is restorative helps to restore the immune system. So the nervous system becomes balanced within a restorative practice. Whereas in a yin practice, we're using lines of energy to balance the flow of the meridians. Now, within the beauty of being able to have a steady yoga practice, especially when you're consistently practicing throughout the year, is you start to notice and become more aware of how the body itself changes and adapts to each season. So within the winter months, you might notice the denseness within your body. You might connect a little bit more to the elements of earth and water, the solid aspect of water, snow, ice. And our human nature can be one of resisting the rest, resisting the slowness or the heaviness. It all serves a purpose. Another example of resisting the seasonal adaptation of rest is to go completely kapha and avoid any type of movement. So we definitely want to incorporate movement. We want to incorporate the heat. We want to move towards the light that's already inside of us, but slowly and steadily. As you start to let your body release into this particular posture, this twist, see if you can start to notice from the inside any subtle shifts that you can make by continuously elongating that top hip. by energetically reaching the arms away from the torso and the torso away from the hips. And it's very subtle, but it creates great change within the body. What do I mean by this? You can physically start to maybe move the hands just incrementally, centimeter by centimeter, and then pause and see how gravity lets that micro adjustment. It can be challenging for us since we are so visually stimulated to fully grasp and understand how these small changes can reap huge benefits. So I'll give you an example of a back bend. To truly find your back bend in wheel pose or something like 𝗔𝗿𝘁𝘀𝘁'𝘀, dancer's pose, bow pose. It takes many, 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 many months of training, many years even, to gently guide and train the back muscles to do the reverse of forward bends. But when we see a phenomenal asana practice or posture, shape, dancer pose or bow, even wheel pose, we can then appreciate the very small micro steps that eventually got to the posture or the photo that we're seeing. There's effort involved, but it happens slowly over time. Take one more mindful account of your body by scanning right now and see if you can inch your hands a little bit further away. Not to the point where you're standing on the edge of your boundary, but just to a place where you can feel like, okay, this is opening up the left side of my shoulder, or I can feel spaciousness on my head. And just see if you can pause there. Just might mean moving your top leg back a centimeter. Might mean readjusting and inching that top arm. Get really good at noticing where your dial, the dial of where you turn up your heat and where you know this is a good place for me to observe movement happening without having to push. And then once you find that place, we're going to breathe very deeply here, going into the ujjayi breath. So really great to stoke the fire in the winter months is to use ujjayi breath. That's an inhalation and exhalation through the nostrils. Helps to raise the internal body temperature. It also helps to keep the balance between the inhalation and exhalation. So let's go ahead and seal the lips. 5 rounds of ujjayi breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale through the nostrils. Breathing in again. See if you can scan and notice where the air is inflating here. It's the belly, the side, the back. And then notice what moves towards the midline of the body on the exhalation. Take 3 more like this on your own. I'll be quiet. slowly wherever you are. Draw your top leg wherever that is. Stack your top leg on top of your bottom leg. Move slowly here because we're dealing with hip mobility, dealing with the greater trochanter, the outer part of the hip that wraps the front and back body together. And then if your cheek was one to one side, turn your forehead to your bolster. Pause. Breathe into the back of the neck, just align the spine. And then let your head be heavy. Stack your shoulders over your wrist. Slowly whirl up one vertebrae at a time. Let your head be heavy. And then pause. As you roll up, no rush at all. Cross the ankle bones. We're going to take a side stretch. So if you were leaning to the left side, reach that left arm up and over by your ear. Anchor into your hip bone. And then just check in here. And come straight back up. It's breathing into the right side, breathing into the left. Just checking out your head. Just turn your cheek side to side. And we're going to take that setup to the opposite side again, just being mindful of not rushing. So intentionally set your block, your bolster up. If you'd like to simply turn to one side, you can absolutely do that. A great rule of thumb is to start out on the same level that you did on one side, and then you can always make adjustments. Make the adjustments that are necessary because our right and left side do tend to be different. Very few people are symmetrical. And then from here, same thing. We're going to let your hip bone, let your knee be flush against your bolster. Pause for a moment and then rotate. So let your torso be long. I feel this quite deeply already without even inching forward. And then scan the elements within your body. And as you start to walk yourself forward, each element in nature, earth, water, fire, air, and space, correlates to the segments of the body, the organs of the body, the physical body itself. See if you can grow the spine long, lifting out of the vertebrae, and then wrap the underneath, the outer part of your ribs. If your right cheek or right hip bone is up towards the bolster on this side, you're going to reach with that left arm, and vice versa, depending on which side you did. Move slowly into this posture, and then let the body adjust. So I'll share with you something that used to occupy the real estate of my mind when I was a younger yogini. I used to be under the perception of if I wasn't going maximum full out all the time in every class, then I wasn't really getting the benefits or the maximum amount of my practice. And for many of you that are working through that very real human emotion, it is something that we eventually overcome. The danger with the opposite end of that spectrum is thinking we don't have to move at all, or, oh, I'm in winter, it's kapha, let's do nothing. So there's a danger between those two polarities. And the beauty of the practice is it gives us all of these shapes that we make with our body, the stillness of our mind, our breath work, our pranayams, to set us up before, to set us up during, and of course, even afterwards. They all serve as a whole so we can get to the deeper meaning of, well, why is my perception that way? What is it? What samskara do I need to work through? Led me to believe this condition. And it's from that place that the healing begins. And so we don't want to avoid aversion. That's one of the kleshas that we can fall into. We don't want to attach raga, but finding that healthy medium and working within the range within each season. And that brings us to a healthy balance where we can stoke the fire and keep it consistent throughout the year. And so on this side, I'm going to ask you, if your eyes aren't already closed, close your eyes if you have a blanket over you. It's going to really help your parasympathetic nervous system. On this side, I want you to see if you can feel any difference. Just scan your body. Just become astutely aware of your right side versus your left and the left side versus the right. They do not have to be identical. That's part of the first healing, part of the first reconditioning of the mind. And then, as you continue to settle into this posture, see if you can slowly walk your hands an inch, centimeter. Just finding a healthy edge where you can rest and let the props help you to find spaciousness in the joints, spaciousness in the ligaments. Use your mind's eye to direct the energy of the top hip. That's the one that's stacked. That's one that's not on the ground. See if you can draw that outer hip away from your tailbone. And this is going to be different for each person, right? There's no cookie cutter here, no formula. Each of us is working within an anatomical range that is a unique recipe. Some of you are working with shoulder and hip impingements. Some of you have scoliosis, arthritis. So just being really mindful, knee injuries, of where you can have a full breath. And we're going to go to the ujjayi breath, matching the inhalation and exhalation, same length. But the lips are sealed. So we're going to generate the heat by inhaling through the nostrils and exhaling through the nostrils. Let's do that together. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Might even feel the side ribs with some resistance. Exhale through the nose. You might notice on your exhalation, you might notice that the restriction of the body as you exhale creates a little bit more length on any place that might feel tight. Instead of gripping your breath here, I want you to focus on exhaling slowly. So you'll take this ujjayi breath 4 more times on your own. There's no rush. Just giving you a few things for you to focus within the breath. Another really fantastic way I love to really teach and elevate people's practices are being able to breathe fully within each posture. And so many times we focus on the outcome. For instance, if we're in a bind or a reverse bind, we focus on that rather than, well, if I bring my knee down and I modify this posture first, can I breathe there fully and then grow through the micro steps? Right. So this is where, for me, I feel like the most advanced you can become as a practitioner is really understanding the subtleties behind using modifications. So, as you started to scan the subtlety within your unique body right now, you might notice that this side is completely different from the opposite side. For some of you, it might feel pretty balanced, pretty the same. Slowly start to bring that top hip, stack your knees, move slowly here. We're dealing with a lot of muscles and ligaments that are intertwined. Greater trochanter wraps the outer part of the gluteus medius, wraps the psoas. You're dealing with the front and back plane of the body. It wraps around the iliosacral crest. In winter months, body is dense and heavy. Or head to the mat, please, or to the bolster. Take your time, breathe into the back of the neck. Give your cervical spine a little bit of a release here. Hands underneath your shoulders, take your time. Head is going to arrive last. face front very slowly. You're going to see how your back bends will increase, your wheel pose will increase. You'll have a greater range within the chest and with the side body. Let's take the right arm up and over. If your right hip was against the bolster, you're going to take the right arm up. If it were your left hip, you'll take the left arm up. Again, no right or wrong here. I like to think of each season a gifted amount of time, 12 weeks, 15 weeks, where we can program the body and work towards particular immersions within the season. Come on back to center. I'll show you from the side here. When we're cold, when we are in winter season, we contract everything very inwardly. Now, that's a space I want you to go into emotionally. We'll be doing that through the subtleties, but physically, we'll be doing the reverse. So let's take the shoulders up by the ears. We're going to take a few shoulder shrugs now. And if you have any questions, you can always send me an email. I do my best to respond to all emails, and then up, around, and back. If you're ever in the live classes and you want to stick around after class to ask me about anything, you can always do that. I do make myself available. We're going to bring the hands to the knees, come to a seated position. We'll take some seated cat-cows here, round back. So separate the shoulder blades, pull them away from you. We're going to do the reverse breathing here. So as you round back, the lungs are in the back body. Inhale with a tucked chin. And then exhale, tilt your pelvis forward. Lift the heart. Feel the subtle lift of the rib cage, as if you're giving yourself a little baby cobra here. Inhale, round the spine. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Taking the reverse breathing technique, reverse pranayama today, because the lungs are in the back body. So notice as you continue this a few rounds on your own. Don't have to wait for me. Notice if this breathing technique, breathing into the back body while the back is rounded, feels more comfortable for you. Notice if it's a little bit more of a habit or something you've gotten used to by breathing the opposite way, because then we're going to shift the airflow now as you round back. I want you to exhale. So exhale, slide the shoulder blades away. Again, staying with the ujjayi breath, that helps to build internal heat. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the shoulders, lift the rib cage. Take a few rounds like this, doing the reverse breathing this time. So exhale, shoulder blades slide away. Inhale, lift heart. Let's do one more. We're going to go into the neck now. So making a few circles with the head. Chin draws over to the right side, up, as if you're making a circle or a clock with the chin. Feel free to keep the eyes closed here. Making a few head circles. I will caution you, if there's any place in the neck that's feeling like you need to linger a little bit longer, please absolutely do that. You can also move very slowly. And then go the opposite way. So our bodies really respond to temperature, even if we've treated ourselves well from coming in from the elements. Take a moment, let's float the arms around and up, please. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, palms press. Exhale, palms down the midline of your body, pausing at the heart center. And what is it that has brought you to your mat today? What is it that you can just give thanks for in this moment? Just acknowledging you always have the ability to shift your practice. And then let's leave a little space between the palms. What is it that you would like to see in motion unfold for you this year? Bring it from the heart. and see it unfolding right before you. We'll chant the sound Om. You can join me or simply receive. Take a smooth breath to inhale. Seal the palms together. Draw the chin towards the chest. And let's come up onto hands and knees. Okay, we'll extend the right heel behind us as if you're pushing into a wall. Breathe into the calf. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Grip your mat and then lift that right leg straight up and back. All five toes like you're pushing into a wall here. Steady the gaze. Draw your right heel towards your buttock. Pause for a moment. And then pour your weight into your right hand. Left arm swoops up. Maybe you catch the top of that right foot, tiger's pose. Wrap the underneath of the right side rib cage. Lift the heart. And just taking a few moments to breathe into the left side shoulder, to breathe into the space that's happening. See if you can keep reaching that right leg up. And slowly release the right knee, release your left hand. You're going to round the spine. Inhale, tuck your knee towards your chin. Exhale, take that right leg straight up and back. You're keeping a little bend here. Inhale, round the spine. So we're bringing some fire to the hamstrings. You can do this with a flexed foot or a pointed knee. Inhale, round the spine. Push the ground away. Exhale, let's take that right leg straight up. One more time. Again, using the strength of the back body here. Inhale. Exhale, lift that right leg straight up. We're going to pause here. Get long on the spine and torso. Pulse, lift that right leg up for 8, for 7, for 6, for 5. Heart moving forward. 3, 2, 1. Release it down. Child's pose. Fingertips reach forward. Tailbone reaching back. Ujjayi breath. Work the right and left sides of the body towards one another. And feel as if your tailbone is a bow. So you're pulling the bow back. The arrow is your fingertips. Biceps long by the ears. I want you to feel the armpits wrap towards the underneath of your biceps. Biceps long by the ears. Armpits wrapping towards your ears. Navel into spine. Smooth breath, inhale. Exhale, wave through spine. Stack shoulders over your wrists. Come to table. Left heel extends. Pause here. Knit the ribs. Draw the navel into the spine so everything's scooping in and up. And then slowly take your time. You're going to lift that left heel up. Bend your left heel. Engage your quadricep. Engage your hamstring. Pour your weight into your left hand. Right arm reaches up. Feel that steadiness. Feel your balance. Take your right hand. Maybe it catches the top of the left leg. Lift the heart. Just to where you can reach. Find the ujjayi breath here. Left side of the rib cage, bowing forward. Right knee reaching up. So staying with the breath, staying within where you can reach your healthy range of motion here. Should be able to maintain one more breath. And then slowly release. Let that right arm come down. Round your spine. Use your inhale. Let the body unwind. Knee to nose. Exhale, left leg comes up. There's a little trick that happens here, right? Inhale, round your spine. Slide the shoulder blades away. As you exhale, draw your navel into the spine so the belly's not hanging out. This is no different than cobra pose. There's a lot of work on the back here and on the hamstring and glutes. Move slowly. Inhale, round the spine. strong, healthy spine mobility. But what tends to happen is that we let the belly hang out, right? So firming through the abdomen here, you can peek up. You can hear me tightening. Inhale. There is work, there is effort. There's heat that we're building, but the heat doesn't have to be fast. This is what it means to stoke the fire. This is how we can still build heat in our practice and condition our mind and our body. Exhale, lift the heart, abdomen into spine, leave your left leg there. We're going to pulse it for 8, for 7. Heart is moving forward. 6, 5, 4. There's so much happening in this. 3, 2, abdomen in. 1 more. You're hearing me shake, right? All right. Child's pose. Reach the seat back. Bow and arrow. Belly in between the thighs. Fingertips moving forward. Find the ujjayi breath here. Wrap the outer upper arms by the ears. Tailbone heavy. Seal the lips, and on your next inhalation, walk through, come through table. Tuck your toes underneath you, down dog. Find it, make it yours. Pedal the heels out. Maybe you shake your head side to side. Maybe it's up and down. Inhale, right leg up. All 5 toes like you're pushing into a wall. Step it forward, help it up. Hands to blocks. Pull your tailbone back. Pyramid pose. Moving inside the breath. Right low lunge. Keeping that back hip lifted. Pyramid pose. Pull it back. You can always keep a little micro bend on this right knee. Pull it back. Exhale. Right low lunge. Left hip lifts. 1 more time. Inhale. Chin to shin. Exhale. Right low lunge. Pause here. Going to lower the left knee down. Take the twist. Untuck the left knee. Right arm high to the ceiling. Open it up. Spiral from the underneath of that left side rib cage. So we're going to take this a little further back, going into the variation from our tiger, but we're keeping the knee down. Right hand down. Maybe you catch the top of the left foot. Feel a subtle lift of your pelvic floor here. So Mula Bandha is engaged. I'm lifting from my Mula Bandha. Breathing into my pelvic floor. Breathing into the space that's happening. And then without slingshotting this back leg, release your back leg. Use your hands to blocks. Step the back foot forward, please. Standing forward fold. Option to hold on to the arms, or you can use your strap. Keep the generous bend on your knees. Generous bend here. Maybe you open the mouth and sigh that breath out now. Switch the crossing of the elbows, of the fingers, by moving 1 finger over. Release the arms. Chin to shin, roll it up 1 vertebrae at a time. Head arrives last, plug in. Float the arms around and up. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, belly towards the thighs. Standing forward fold, please. Generous bend on the knees. We're going to step back 1 leg at a time. Inhale, lengthen your spine, our Uttanasana. 1 leg at a time. Find your plank. Hands towards the toes towards the hands. You can do this with or without your knees. We're going to lower all the way down. Belly to the earth. Chaturanga Dandasana. 3-part cobra. Lift the heart. Back of the neck is long. Exhale, release. Hands 1 inch off of the mat. Inhale, lift. Feel the top of your arrow, which is the top of your crown. Exhale, release. Feet as wide as your mat. Lift your legs. Lift your hands. Slide them back. Back of the neck is long. So working the back without straining anything else. Release. Hands off of the mat. Bow your chest forward. Upward facing dog, or you can choose cobra, which is what I'm showing here. Never compressing into the lower back. So finding where your body is today. Release. Hands underneath your shoulders. Find your down dog. Either moving through table or modified plank. From downward facing dog, pedal the heels out. Arrange your hands, arrange your feet. Settle into this posture, never have to rush. Organize the segments and then float that left leg straight up. Exhale, step your left leg forward, help it up. Left leg in between the hands, pause. Hands to blocks, bow and arrow here. So let your tailbone lead you back, pyramid pose. Bow forward. Let your exhale bring you into that left low lunge. Take this a few more times and then notice what you're feeling. Is it the back of the knee that's responding to the posture first? Is it the calf? Is it the belly of your hamstring that's giving you feedback? Right? And it's not just noticing for the sake of noticing. It's noticing, wow, this is how my body responds in this month, during this temperature, during this season. Rather than working against the elements, when we start to acknowledge how our body is responding within the season, we know which postures, which pranayams, which movement to stimulate and keep the heat consistent. It's kind of like having a fire that's warming you in a log cabin throughout the entire season, rather than one night of heat and then you're freezing for the rest of the season, right? Pause. The next time you come to left low lunge, lift that right hip up, steer your hips forward, and then take your time as you lower the back knee down. You're going to take the twist here. Right hand to a block or on the ground. Lift from the right side hips. Left arm up. Spiral the hand behind you. Keep the spiral in the container of the rib cage moving back. Notice if the left inner thigh is flaring out. So keeping everything towards the midline of the body, maybe you reach back for the right quad. And again, I want you to focus on a few things here. Notice if you're dumping into your right hand. Can you equally distribute your energy to the left foot, to the left big toe mound, to the inner thighs? Can you let them work and lift Mula Bandha? Can you take the weight out of your bottom hand so that the right hip and the right quadricep are receiving that energy rather than pouring all of your weight down into the wrist? And then as you're lifting out of the hips and spiraling the right side rib cage, you're going to give yourself a greater range here to get into the psoas. Give you a deeper twist here. One more breath. Release that right leg. Take your time as it unfolds. Back leg steps forward. Move within the range. Standing forward fold, please. Generous bend here on the knees. We're going to take Padahastasana. Slide your hands underneath your feet. Walk your big toes towards your wrist. Generous bend. Belly on top of the thighs. Head is heavy. Now, to get to the belly of the calf, I really want you to focus on your big toe, second toe, and third toe. I'll say that again. Focus on your big toe, second toe, and third toe. And that's going to open up the belly of the calf in a very different way. And then release the hands. Backs of the hands press down, palms face down, step onto the backs of the hands here. And as you're doing this little wrist stretch today, I want you to lift your palms. That's the bottom part of your palms where the wrists are connected. See if you can lift that up just a little bit. It's a little deeper into the forearms. Release the hands down. Chin to chest. Roll up one vertebrae at a time, please. Scoop everything in. Now plug big toe, second and third into the earth. Notice how that changes the structure of the body. Pause as you align samasthiti. Why am I focusing on those areas? Earth, big toe, water, second toe, third toe, fire. Right, so grounding in the elements, stoking the fire. Circle the arms around and up. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, belly towards your thighs. Uttanasana. Standing forward fold, please. Inhale, lengthen the spine to a flat back. Exhale, step back, one leg at a time. Plank pose. Draw the ankles together. Zip your legs. Hands and toes towards one another. Grip the mat. Feel the fire stoke here. Resist the earth, and I want you to protract your shoulders. That means move the shoulders away from one another. Also gives you a roundness or a fullness of the back. Lift your hips high. Notice how this changes the structure of your body. From here, we're going to descend 4 counts. Ujjayi breath through the nose. Inhale, exhale. Let yourself lower for 4. Chaturanga. 3, 2, 1. Notice that that felt very different for some of you. 3-part cobra. Lift the heart. What was the difference from what you just did, from what you've usually been doing? Lower. Lift hands, lift heart. Think of winter as a posture lab where you get to experience, like a laboratory, what's happening inside your body. Release. As wide as the mat. Lift your legs, slide your hands back. Torso long. Jaw at ease. Release. Upward facing or cobra pose. I'll let you decide. How's your body feeling thus far? Lift heart. Exhale, release. So there's control, there's structure. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press back to child's pose, please. Belly engaged. Tailbone moving back. Fingertips launching forward. Can you drop in to how this might feel very different from how you started? And then take a smooth breath here. Very slowly start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. So we're going to end in a back bend, and then that back bend is going to bring us into Shavasana. Now, with this back bend, it's a very deep back bend. I would ask you to have your blanket handy so that way you don't have to pop back up to cover yourself. I'll show you what this looks like. And I'm going to encourage you to start on either the second highest or the lowest level first. And that's again because our bodies shift and change with the element, especially if you are in the northern hemisphere and it's winter. We're going to start with the second block. I'm starting at the second highest level. It's because that's what feels right for my body. You can always start at the first highest, which is the lower level. And as you can see, I'm drawing my elbows back. I'm giving myself a little bit of a lift here. The ribs aren't sticking out. This is from lifting from my spine. Can show you what that looks like here. This would be sticking my ribs out, the bottom of the ribs. This is actually lifting from the breastbone up. So my navel's drawing in. From there, I'm able to very slowly lower down. I would place the block underneath where my ponytail is. If you have a ponytail, I would remove it, but I'll show you what this looks like. So this feels like a really great place to be able to let all of that work. I'm going to pause here so you can adjust yourself and see. If you happen to have a blanket on the way down, I would start by covering my knees. And we want to keep your knees slightly bent, turned in towards one another, if that feels comfortable. But definitely bend your knees and keep the soles of the feet on the ground. And that's going to help with your hip adjustments. So energetically drawing the elements, the earth lines are the big toe lines. We want to stimulate the earth, water, and fire lines. Hopefully everyone should be adjusted by now. And with this very deep back bend, you want to make sure you're taking your time to set yourself up so you're not having to adjust out of it. The anatomy behind this particular back bend, the counter pose is Shavasana. That's the beauty of ending in this particular posture and then coming down to the earth. Many of you have either written to me or have asked me questions as to why we don't do forward bends. And that's a great question I'm going to answer in today's practice. So, we don't want to go into flexion, which is a forward bend, after we take back bends because the body has opened up. The ligaments have stretched out to a place of then being asked if you move into a forward bend, it's going to contract, it's going to shorten, it's going to shrink all of the ligaments and the opposite of what it is that we've just opened up. So, healthy spinal alignment, any back bends that you take should always be met with a flat back. Rule of thumb, forward bends or flexions are great during the summer months and during the spring months. I would say actually more spring and fall if you're practicing Ayurvedically, and that is because vata, forward folds, help to reduce the excess air in our body. During the fall season in particular, we can get very heady. The winds kick up, the temperature changes from hot to cold. So to get us out of the fluctuations of the mind, forward folding bends are fantastic. And in the winter, it is my belief, and with this methodology, that in order to prepare the body for the warmth and the birth that comes in the spring, the light that we need to cultivate in the heart needs to slowly open, and that starts with back bends. See if you can start to practice your ujjayi breath here. The ujjayi breath in back bends almost feels as if it's an internal tickle that runs from the inside of the belly, up the sternum, even into the back of the throat. Back and spine health is of utmost importance because as we get older, especially those of you that have any older relatives, any parents, you might notice the postural alignment changes as we increase with age. Our body starts to round, we shrink our size, not because of physical structure shrinking, but because our bones and our muscles that surround the bones, our foundation is our spine, it holds us in place. When those muscles are not strengthened, then the spine tends to be pulled forward. Practicing back bends and opening up the pectoral muscles, practicing opening up the shoulder girdle, the front plane of the body, not only increases our vitality and our lung capacity, but it also allows for the spine to decompress. And for those of you just beginning your back bend journey, I encourage you to move very slowly. If there are 90 days to winter, not that there are, because there is no beholden numerology behind seasonal change. But giving you an example, if you were to give yourself 90 days to open up your chest cavity, just starting with day one, just finding a place that's manageable to breathe. Doing this slowly every day will move you towards a greater range of breath intake. To come out of this posture, depending on where you are. So if you are on the lowest level for the back, that's the one that's literally behind your back. I want you to stay there and then slowly I'm going to start with the back first. So might lift your hips, might press your way into the crown, pushing my heels down. Try not to turn your head because it's going to affect your cervical spine. Do your best to slide the one that's underneath your back and shoulders first. Get that out of the way. You can place that underneath your thigh bone. And then as your body comes down to the earth, you're going to remove the one that's underneath your crown. Slide it out. Hopefully it's seamless. And slide that block underneath your opposite thigh. Now pause here for a moment. If you want to peek up at me, you absolutely can. What's happening is that the body is going into its natural alignment from gravity. This is a really great place to pause. Many times when I'm practicing back bends, I place my feet on the blocks, which brings my lower back closer to the earth. This is called conscious rest. So this might be a really great place for many of you to let your latissimus dorsi, let the lower back align. Some of you might feel more comfortable. Again, this is individual. Letting your thigh bones rest on the blocks. Hopefully, you've already covered yourself with a blanket if that was your choice, and you can just slowly pull the fabric up without having to move your back. Again, I highly caution you not to move. And we're going to stay here for about 5 minutes at least. I would give yourself double that amount of time, just 10 minutes, just to let the lats, the shoulders, the heaviness of the spine and hips realign. You can take 5 minutes of just conscious rest. If your knees are bent, your shavasana, if you are on the ground. And if you're in shavasana or conscious rest, close the eyes. Find your ujjayi breath. Again, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Use your mind's eye to visualize a ball of light at the base of your feet. As you inhale, feel this light from the balls of your feet move through your body on the inhalation to right underneath the top of your crown. As if you can feel this energy line like golden threads from the bottoms of the feet. Listen for the sound, the hum. Feel the light move up to right underneath your crown. The inhalation. Hum. The inhalation. Sweep the energy up from the soles of the feet. Hum on the inhalation. Again, hum. Sweep the energy up. Take a few more rounds like this, visualizing the golden ball of light moving the balls of the feet. Hum. Right underneath the crown. On your exhalation, listen for the sound sa and feel that golden light at the top of your crown. Merging into pure sunlight. Hum on the inhalation, let it move up. Feel it explode and connecting with pure source energy, pure sunlight. Hum. Sa. Welcome to stay here if you're taking a longer savasana. You're ready to move slowly. Rub your thumbs over each fingertip. Press your tongue behind your upper teeth. It's bringing your consciousness back. And then slowly roll over onto your right hip. It's going to protect the integrity of your spine. You can draw your knees in slightly and use your top hand to guide you to any comfortable seat. No rush. And press the palms to the center of the heart as you arrive. Feel this merging of duality. Represents our polarities, represents our opposites, and is also the union, symbol of the union. We don't have to get caught up in the extremes. We don't have to lose ourselves or our practice moving into polarity. But that union is always found in the balance of the heart. So we bow down to opening the heart and cultivating the light that's always inside of us. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a safe and healthy rest of your day whenever you're practicing. Thanks so much for joining. Namaste. Make a fist with your right hand, cover it with your left, press it below your navel, lean forward, feel a subtle lift of your pelvic floor. It helps to reground, and then come straight back.